Happy King Day. Thank you so much for sharing this morning with me. I have a dream in recognizing Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I just remember when we used to all get together. We used to all get together and enjoy our King Day, have a breakfast and everything. Well, this is as close as we can get to it, so don't don't hesitate to go get your little green tea, get your coffee, get everything that you need, and let's talk and let's celebrate. Let's celebrate. Good morning, Mr. Hill, indeed. Yes, indeed. Thank you. Thank you so much. Getting the chatting going. I can see numbers, but until you say hello, good morning, happy Dr. Martin Luther King Day, I don't know you're there sharing this time with me. I have some key positive things I want us to talk about. Some of the goals. Good morning, Miss Talia Farrow. Some of the goals of Martin Luther King. Like, do you have goals? Do you have aspirations? Do you have things that are important for you? What is your life's blueprint? I love that speech. I don't know if you've ever heard that speech, but YouTube is a great tool for checking out speeches that we didn't, we weren't here to see. And definitely make sure that you check out My Life's Blueprint. It's extremely interesting. In addition to I Have a Dream, right? We hear about that one all the time. And I've been to the mountaintop. Like, tell me your favorite quote. Please give me some feedback, Queen Howard, on your favorite quote, your favorite moment, what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. means to you. It is beautiful to be able to say that we achieved a national holiday, recognizing Dr. Martin Luther King, a wonderful civil rights leader. And his holiday gives us an opportunity to, recognize, and we might do that next year to all the Afro Economics members, and all of you guests, definitely please consider joining Afro Economics. It is a big part of continuing King's work. Afro Economics is the home of Afro Economics is JB Bryan Financial Group, a registered investment advisory firm. And King discovered that wealth and wealth development, and most importantly, let me keep it right there where it's supposed to be. Preventing poverty, the prevention of poverty is key to moving life forward for everyone, for everyone. And in my discussion today, you'll see that as he moved in his work and moved closer to realizing the impact that racism was having on generations of people, he said, this is a wealth problem. This is a poverty problem for our people, and Black people were disproportionately impacted by discrimination, and the discrimination was leading to poverty, and that poverty, discrimination started by slavery. You have to remember that our Black community is the only community of people that have ever been enslaved in this country, and we're still here. And through that slavery of all of those years of not being able to own anything, accumulate anything, pass on anything, has been financially devastating to Black wealth. And I don't use loosely, financially devastating to Black wealth because of the underpayment, because of not getting equal pay, because of not getting access to loans, because of not getting the rights even for veterans after they left the war, came home and still were discriminated against and didn't get the opportunities to purchase homes, start businesses. It's great when you look at the research on King and you see that in his Southern Christian Leadership Conference, they were moving towards having an economic Bill of Rights added to the U.S. Constitution. Yes. Queen Howard said she loved when King said, "I'm going back to get my check." In an interview. Amen. Miss Clements, peace and blessings. All Dr. King delivered his blueprint. Yes, indeed. Oh, wow. Barrett Junior High in your hometown. That's so positive. Positive. Prayers going out to Philadelphia, PA. Yes, indeed. My daughter is in college in Pennsylvania. And to the families that lost their lives in Pennsylvania in the big fire, as well as in New York, just thankful that we are together. So let's look forward into some things that I prepared for you. Now, I enjoy the speech that King had called "Remaining Awake Through a Great Revolution." And it was the subject of his final sermon that he made final sermon on March 31st, 1968 in Washington, D.C. Remaining awake through the Great Revolution. Stay woke, right? Dr. King made reference to a story about Rip Van Winkle, a character in a book that slept for 20 years. And during his time of sleeping, the leadership changed completely while he was asleep. And a revolution had happened that would change the course of history. And Rip Van Winkle was just asleep through it all. This is what he talks about. So today I challenge us on our King Day 2022. Are you awake? Or are you sleeping through a revolution that may not be including you? Are you awake? And then a few days later, in April of 1968, he was in Memphis, Tennessee, and he gave a speech about collective economic power. And here's a quote for him. Now the other thing we'll have to do is this: always anchor our external direct action with the power of economic withdrawal. Now, we are poor people individually. We are poor when we compare us with white society in America. We are poor. Never stop and forget that collectively, that means all of us together, collectively, we are richer than all the nations in the world, with the exception of just 9. Did you ever think about that? After you leave out the United States, Russia, Great Britain, Germany, France, and he says this, I can name some others, the American Negro collectively is richer, these are the words of King, the American Negro is richer than most nations of the world. We have an annual income. You have an annual income. There we go. And got back to his, because I want to quote it correctly. And and she loved his little monitor, just clicking on down. I got excited. Let's look at what the collective income was. So it says, we have an annual income of more than $30 billion a year. Imagine what that is today, which is more than all of the exports the United States and more than the national budget of Canada. Did you know that? That's power right there. And if you know how to pull it, and we know how to pull it, if we know. So he says, and let me make sure that I say this correctly, because this is the last sentence of I want to quote right here, is that's power right there, if we know how to pull it, period. So we're talking about the importance of collective economic power. And we talk about that in, the importance of what we can accomplish together when we're trying to create positive change for this world. I think we think about ourselves too much individually when we don't see how we can build financial power together and help the entire world be a better place. Martin Luther King Jr. prescribed that we add an economic Bill of Rights to the U.S. Constitution. King inspired a Bill of Rights that should include a constitutional amendment. That includes natural human right to be free from economic poverty and appropriate enforcement legislation to make sure that people have a right and have access to economic empowerment and can be free economically and be free of poverty. I've read so much research of now people going to college, graduating, and still only getting jobs that are minimum wage. So they have school loans, federal government school loans, but they're getting jobs that are minimum wage. That's a problem. So we're in it. So he was on the movement. So we need legislation appropriate to King's prescriptions for abolishing economic poverty and to create incomes. This was a big part. He wanted to create incomes by providing well-paid jobs and new forms of work that would enhance the social good. This is his. These were his goals, supplemented by guaranteed income for all and special measurements for those who were disadvantaged or disabled, taking care of our entire society. Not long after his assassination, unfortunately, on April 4th of 1968, the Committee of 100 from his Southern Christian Leadership Conference actually presented a economic Bill of Rights. The Southern Christian Leadership Architects of the Poor People's Campaign outlined 5 requirements of that Bill of Economic and Social Rights that would set poverty on the road of extinction. Now, this is in 1968. So poverty is supposed to be gone by now. Now, I'm going to tell you what those are. Ms. Hill says, unfortunately, many of our young people see economics as just about money or just about making money. They don't understand that what you do with the money. Amen. Amen. I just started my business. Good job, Ms. Walker. God's plan. I'm still learning. Hard to qualify for grants. And it's hard doing it by yourself. That's why I have the entrepreneurship membership of Afro Economics. Because when I was at your point in 1995, when I started my firm, I didn't have anybody like me that wanted to help me get insight on entrepreneurship. Now, Ms. Walker, you have me here. And the least that you can do for yourself is sign up for the free membership of Afro Economics until you can graduate to the entrepreneurship level, which is very much worth your investment in your dream. You definitely have to. Good morning, Rosita. And because this is an opportunity, in my opinion, God asked me to create or encouraged me to create Afro Economics so that I could give people what I never had. So in that economic Bill of Rights, it had 5 major points. 1, a meaningful job with a living wage for every employable citizen. A second point, a secure and adequate income for all who cannot find jobs for whom employment is inappropriate. 3, access to land as a means to income and livelihood. Access. 4, access to capital as a means of full participation in the economic life of America. What Ms. Walker was just talking about. That's capital, trying to get access to capital. She's trying to do it through government grants. I don't believe in that. But a lot of people do it, and there's a whole bunch of government grant money out there to get. But I don't like owing the government anything. But if you do business with them, you have to make sure you know and follow and answer and go by their guidelines. And that's really, it's for nonprofits, but there also are some grants out there for profit businesses now. And I believe that there's a lot of extension because of our government actually doing venture capital into actual regular corporations. In other countries, governments do invest in their businesses of other businesses. Like they'll have money set aside to help small businesses and not just through loans. Loans are not access to capital, especially for our community, because they're always based on having collateral of some other asset, and we tend not to have that. So when the government says we're going to be doing more SBA loans, they're not talking to our businesses generally. Because the SBA loan has one of the biggest collateral criteria as any other loan. So, definitely access to capital is a key word there. They have to actually want you to get access to it, not have things that sound good and they can brag about it that, oh, we've done these things, but they know that the businesses that really need it can't get access to it. And then a fifth point is recognition by law of the right of people affected by government programs to play a truly significant role in determining how they are designed and carried out. Exactly. Like if they set up a government grant program for Head Start programs, say, you can have private Head Start programs or nonprofit Head Start programs at churches or something. But we know nothing about how it works because we're not involved in it, or they're not even getting any feedback on, well, generally our parents don't have blah, 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 or generally, so if they have like a requirement that in order to participate, just as an example, is $1,000 down or something. And then we don't get a chance to say, well, you know what? That's a lot of money for a lot of people who come to my particular school or something like that. So we need to get in on, so what they're saying is that recognition by law of the right of people affected by government programs to play a significant role in determining how they are designed and carried out. Like people who are getting what is referred to as subsidized housing. So they're giving them some money, but at the same time, they may be controlling their income or they're controlling how much money they can have in savings. So is that really trying to help me get ahead? That you're helping me pay my rent, but I can't save over a certain amount, say $1,000, and I got 4 kids, and all I can have in my account is $1,000, or you're going to stop helping me with the rent. How in the world are they going to save if they don't have something in the program that is designed to help? So I'm not saying that the government, is trying to harm in any way, but they don't have the people involved that are designed to help it. But I see one thing, they still allow write-offs of interest paid on home mortgages. So think about that. Who's involved? Most of the people you vote in have a home mortgage. So they go and they look out for their interests. But what's up with the child tax credit? Are they going to continue to do that this year? Oh, we'll get back to it. We'll let you know because we're not involved on that. And when we get in there and we get in a position to talk about it, we're not doing anything. And then we consistently vote these same people in over and over. That's why the Southern Christian Leadership Conference was nonpartisan. That's why I'm nonpartisan. I'm all about developing you. And we have to learn how to get more information about, is this helping me? People are getting jobs that look like us, getting in there and doing nothing to make a difference. I believe that in corporate America, we have to make a commitment, definitely in politics, being paid by taxpayers, and you're not doing your job, and you're not caring about what taxpayers need. But interesting, and I just want to use this as a sidebar, I found this to just be so motivating because I am a corporation. I'm not a nonprofit. I am committed to repairing my community and enhancing my community and healing my community for the benefit of all society. And that's what Ben and Jerry said. Yep, the ice cream people. They said they want to use the tools of their business to repair society. And in 2021 of last year, they put on their website, their Ben and Jerry's website, it says, "Millionaire activist who wanted to overturn the political establishment of his day." Now, how about, let's just count how many of our own businesses speak out today about the importance of economic equality and economic expansion and getting rid of poverty and speak and support and push forward. But here it is, a publicly traded company saying that we can be profitable just like I'm saying. And I find that motivating because sometimes you focus too much on the sacrifice that you're making, but in reality, this is the way it's supposed to be. So he says, but every Martin Luther King Jr. Day, this is from Ben and Jerry website, we get the same soft-focused tributes using the same "I have a dream" quotes, a safe, cuddly greeting card version of Dr. Martin Luther King that doesn't come close to reflecting the entirety of who he was and what he believed. Come on. Yes, we all know that he had a dream, but we barely get a sense of what that dream was about. Dr. King made it clear, especially toward the end of his life, that he wanted to radically, this is on their website, radically transform American society. So if you're in business and you look like me and you're not committed to radically improving American society, then you're not woke. You're Rip Van Winkle. They go on. King wanted to end racism, end poverty, and end war. And this was from January 2021. They said, this King Day, let's get to know Dr. King in his own words that remain as powerful and relevant today as they were over 50 years ago. Now, get this. They give me 5. Yes, indeed. On their own, they put up 5. This is the truth. Fighting for radical and economic justice. Fighting for racial and economic justice. First topic. What did he say about that? Well, the problems of racial injustice and economic injustice cannot be solved without a radical redistribution of political and economic power. That's King. The problems of racial injustice and economic injustice cannot be solved without a radical redistribution of political and economic power. And that's called the three, that came from his speech, The Three Evils of Society. And we're still going through it. We're still going through it. Here is a country with a legacy. This is what they say on their website. This country has never truly reckoned with the legacy of slavery. But we see the ongoing effects of that legacy on the racist criminal justice system, the massive racial wealth gap, and the redisproportionate impact of crises like economic and environmental pollution in our hoods, climate change, and COVID-19 on Black and brown people and in low-income communities. This is their website, Ben and Jerry's. All while many of our leaders, funded by corporations and the ultra-wealthy, use race and racism to divide and silence everyday Americans. To make lasting change, we must make sure that our democracy and economy work for everyone, not just those who happen to be rich and white. That's from there. That's the white person that said that. That's their majority white owned. That's their publicly traded company. That's their words. So I'm not just coming up with this. King didn't just come up with this. You know what I mean? This is the reality of it. If you want this world to get better, if we want things to get better for our country, now it's so bad that we are not, if you believe in the vaccine. How in the world can we live in a country that will not share the vaccine? And nobody cares. We have chosen to make sure that those companies keep their money on that patent, that they keep their profits up, that they don't have to give up that, and people are dying. If you believe in it and you're saying everybody in America should take it, then why aren't we sharing it with everybody in the world? It's about the world. It's about the world. Making good on the promise of freedom and justice. A second point. These are King's words. This is his quote from King on making good on the promise of freedom and justice. A riot is the language of the unheard. And that comes from an African proverb, really. It says the person that you reject from the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. Right? A riot is the language of the unheard. And what it is, America has failed to hear. It has failed to hear that the promises of freedom and justice have not been met. And it has failed to hear that large segments of white society are more concerned about tranquility and the status quo than about justice and humanity. That's from The Other America, 1967. Come on, y'all. Come on. In Virginia the other day, a new governor came in, and the first thing that he sat down and signed was he had like 11 things he said I'm gonna do. I mean, he's cool. The man's in the financial service industry. I ain't got nothing, you know what I mean? Nothing but like respect for you, how successful you've been. But what he represents to me, you could put it in a case study. The same year I start an investment firm, he starts an investment firm. He's a billionaire almost. Come on, y'all. And he's the first thing he signs. And I know I got more clients than they ever had. But what he did, and I know I work hard than he ever had to work. I'll take it neck for neck. I bet he works hard, but he don't work hard like this. He don't work hard like this. But he was managing millions and millions and millions of money because what? My ancestors worked for them for free. They got stocks. They got bonds. They got wealth. They inherited things. They got land. They got everything. What we do? We got a chance to go to college and sit at the booth next to him. Go in and buy some soda pop. Come on. So the first thing he says he wants to sign is critical race theory. Because what? He don't want to hear anybody say what I just said, that racism impacts over generations. Not the second thing. Look, not the second thing, Mr. Johnson. The first thing he signs is critical race theory is out. Out. That shows you, first of all, how important it is to talk with our kids and make sure that our children understand that white people aren't rich and black people are poor and all this didn't happen to us by accident. I had to tell a brother, and he was working in Whole Foods, and he had just come to this country, and missionaries had gone to get him, and he come and he said, oh, I just don't understand why black people they don't work hard and they get all these opportunities. I said, man, it's different when you have come from generations of oppression. Generations of oppression. So when I said I want to start my business, and probably when Ms. Walker said she wanted to start her business, they said the same thing King said. Yeah, just going to get you a job. Can you make sure that she get a job? Can somebody give her a job? That's the way they see it. Because the capital has not been there for us. So you can't, when you want the best for your child, you're trying to get them to stay in tune with the reality that has been robbed from them, from the imagination or dream of something bigger on our own. Woo! But look, now we are at another generation that's saying we don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear about this race theory. Let's just throw it away. It doesn't matter that the federal government itself, it made sure that you could only live in certain neighborhoods and made sure that your property wasn't even given the opportunity to advance, and made sure that your ancestors weren't even given the opportunity to start a business because they weren't going to get the chance to get the loan anyway. So you're going to, I made sure that they lost their farm because they weren't getting any type of subsidies like farmers are getting now. The channel keeps saying MLK was a weak leader. We're celebrating all we got. I thank God for him. I don't know, channel. I see you as weak because I don't even know what your name is. I don't even know what their name is. You're going to put up there and say he was weak when that man put his life on the line every day, standing up for us. You don't even have you put your phone number, your name, your email out here for all of us to see. And I'm sure there's somebody out here that's going to they're going to want to talk to you about what you said about King. You don't know the whole story. I don't know the whole story. But he played the card that he was dealt, and he stood up for me. And if not for the grace of God, it's because of him. It's because of him. We can say that. No need to call in. Just put your phone number up there and your email. See how negativity is chasing us, y'all? That's why you have to stay focused. They want to get front and center. You want to rob us of this opportunity to give this black man, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., his due. This man deserved that. Elijah Muhammad is indeed a true leader, but that's not because King is not. It's because they both were leaders. Come on now. Why has it got to be one and not the other? We have some seriously powerful black men on this planet, and neither one of them they ain't the last and they weren't the first. Woo! More to come. More black, powerful men to come. And right here, they're not given the opportunity. A friend of mine at the gym today, she tells me, she says, this guy, this actor, he's so great. He always says the right thing about racism. And I said, well, what does he say? And I forgot. It's the one that does like Driving Miss Daisy and that guy, And she said, well, he says like, don't talk about racism and don't talk about it. And then it'll be better. And I said, sis, that's the problem. Racism is real. And it's just if the first part of correcting an alcoholic is the alcoholic saying they're an alcoholic. You can't, Morgan Freeman talking about don't talk about racism. All right, Morgan Freeman, easy for you to say. You know what I mean? Because you're very rich and you can separate yourself from me. But let me tell you what I've experienced. And maybe if you had to walk in my shoes, you might see things differently. But I got to give him his due respect. That's how he feels. That's you, Morgan Freeman. You got the right to that. But I don't feel that we solve racism by ignoring racism. I think that we should help one another, build one another. That we should, say, hey, that's not appropriate behavior. That's how we help people to help their kids. If we continue to allow it and ignore it and act like it doesn't exist, like the movie they were kept showing for Sidney Poitier, and they put it on national news, and the guess who's coming to dinner, and they have a scene, and Sidney talks to his dad, and his dad is like, I don't know, they don't let his dad talk. So his dad's got this like grumpy black look on his face, and his dad's like mad, and Sidney says, see, your problem is you see yourself as a black man, and I see myself as a man. And we were supposed to get excited about that. And I said to myself, yes, but you didn't finish your sentence. You are a man that happens to be black. You still black. I don't care how much you leave black out, Sydney, you're black. So they give them like these awards, and then we get excited, but we don't understand what that does for racism. So here you are on TV, on Hollywood, promoting racism, and you got a black man doing it. It's okay to be a black man. Oh my goodness. So you're supposed to forget your race? That's no. Just because I'm black and I'm happy with being black does not, like, sometimes people will hunt me down on social media and they go, oh, what's Afroeconomics? What is that? All economics is economics. Get off my page. Do you see me on your page? Do you see me saying anything to you? How can it bother you? It's amazing to me. You know, it's just too amazing to me. Like this person channel. I'm not sure, but you might not be who you're putting yourself out to be. So let's look at calling out the connection between racism, poverty, and war. And this is in Where Do We Go From Here? In King's speech in 1967. He says, we must see now that the evils of racism, economic exploitation, and militarism are all tied together. And you can't get rid of one without getting rid of the other. And that's in Where Do We Go From Here? He says we got to get rid of racism so that we can get rid of the economic exploitation. We don't need to have this struggling lower class. We don't need that. But we have to make a commitment to giving livable wages and good jobs and opportunities and business opportunities to everyone. Bring in hate and violence. Rein it in, he says. And he says, see, this is in 1967. This is a quote from King. He says, it may be true that morality cannot be legislated, but behavior can be regulated. It may be true that the law cannot change the heart, but it can restrain the heartless. It may be true that the law can't make a man love me, but it can restrain him from lynching me. And I think that's pretty important also. The Other America, 1967, right? You can stop it. You can stop it. And then finding the will to make positive change. And King said in 1967, there is nothing new about poverty. What is new, however, is that we now have the resources to get rid of it. Now, this could be said today. All of these are about what's relevant today. Why should there be hunger and deprivation in any land, in any city, at any table, when man has the resources and scientific know-how to provide all mankind with basic necessities of life? There is no deficit in human resources. The deficit is in human will. Like I'm saying, the time has come for an all-out world war against me. All out. All out. What do you think? I mean, think about it. Think about it. And let's look at everything is to be thought about globally now. But to think about it. Look at Haiti, one of the most beautiful countries on the planet, struggling like that. You know why? Dr. King has been revered since his assassination, and this is from Ben and Jerry's to us. And that's his assassination in 1968. But many Americans saw him as a dangerous man when he was alive. And he was in the best possible way. He made the powerful and the politically connected uncomfortable by working tirelessly to transform this country and ensure that America lived up to its founding ideals. To those who profited and still profit from division and racism, those are definitely dangerous ideas. That's why this and every King Day, you should celebrate King for who he was in all his fullness of character, conviction, and deeds. And deeds. Like this is our time to really start making some decisions and wake up. You know what I mean? It's silly time for us to make some decisions and wake up. Yeah, the hidden person said that the king was not seen as dangerous. LOL. But look at this. We're in 2022, and I can't do a video without someone like you harassing me. That's hate. That's unnecessary. This man doesn't need to be attacked by you. You don't even identify who you are. You're afraid. And I mean, think about it. Like Iyanla said, she stopped her show the other day because she's going to no longer do her whole show because of all the hate and the meanness and how unkind people were to her. Like this person, Chanel, they brought out, I don't know, Channel, but maybe it's not a female. Maybe it's just someone named Channel. But Channel, you brought up these leaders' names, but would they really want you to be disrespecting both of them this way? Think about what we do. You don't just represent yourself. I represent you. You represent me. There's someone watching and it's like, why can't we just do what we're doing? Why can't we just focus on kingdom? Why does everybody always have to, do this? You know what? But I'm going to tell you, when I looked at that and I saw Iyanla allowing people like you to get her off her purpose, off her course, that's why you came. Because I said, if that happened to me, would I be strong enough to keep going? Focus on God's plan for me, God's plan for me to use to keep on King's work, to keep moving my community and this world forward. Yes, I'm stronger than you. I'm stronger than you because you don't know me and you definitely don't know MLK. Amen. Mr. Johnson said, America killed the king of love. Just think about that. Amen. Because all he brought was love. All he brought was love. But I see people like that get attacked all the time. I see it all the time. Like the more love that you try to bring, the more, even if, let's just say that person Channel that's doing this, there's a part of them that says, hey, I don't want to be causing this. I'm so sick of causing chaos everywhere I go. I want to be loved. I want to be fit in. I want to fit in. I want to help my people. I don't know. You don't even know who you are, but let's just say you feel like that. And then something in you just says, nah, kill it. Kill all that's good. Just kill it. Let's make sure that when that voice talks to us, we stay. That's right, Mr. Hawkins. We stay in a non-violent atmosphere. Exactly. That we don't have to fight physically. That you can bring down walls with our mental strength. I believe that our mind, that non-violence is cool. But what he should have focused on, I believe, is mental strength. Like, because what we did was when we said nonviolent, then it gave like a weakness. Like it came like that person was saying, like they looked at it as weakness. But what he was really trying to do was to help us build our mind. Like, let's be able to take the pain. Like, you can blow me with that. You can put your dog out. Like, you can beat me. You can do that. I want to be strong enough to take that. Like, we should have been like running miles and lifting weights and doing fitness and, having prayer and doing fast so that they could see the reason these people are nonviolent is because we're strong, not because we're weak, not because we're scared. It's just that my mind is stronger than yours and you've been doing this. And at some point, you're going to give up because I'm not. You can kill me and I will still live. There will be someone talking about me. Look at that. I'm still talking about King. So they didn't even kill him. He's still here. That's strength. That's like me. Chanel, you can't win. That's my video. There's nothing you can do. So let's move forward. Let's move forward. Let me give you some things I feel that we need to 10 empowerment things for us. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. And that's in Strength to Love in 1963. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. This is what King says, but longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. We have fought hard and long for integration, but I believe we should have, and I know that we will win. But I've come to believe we're integrating into a burning house. I'm afraid that America may be losing what moral vision she may have had. And I'm afraid that even as we integrate, we are walking into a place that does not understand that this nation needs to be deeply concerned with the plight of the poor and disenfranchised. Until we commit ourselves to ensuring that the underclass is given justice and opportunity, we will continue to perpetuate the anger and violence that tears at the soul of this nation. Yes, and I see it all the time. I see it in financial services. I see our community attacking our own poverty, our own community that's already struggling, and go in there and try to destroy them so that you can take everything that they don't even have and not ever replenish it. I don't care what somebody does or gives you. What if we say no? What if we say no? What if we say no? Every get rich, every this is easy, everything that's going to make you feel better, this is fun, we can't do it no more. For when people get caught up with that which is right and they are willing to sacrifice for it, there is no stopping point of victory. Let's get caught up in what is right. My second point is to protect your family. I have a dream that my 4 children will one day live in a nation where they are not judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. That's him. Protect your family. Let us develop a kind of dangerous unselfishness that you will give of yourself for the betterment of others. Where is this attitude of, I got mine? They need to get themselves together. We're in this together. We're in this together. Understand the political system. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Right? We are caught in that inescapable network. Right? That's an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one of us affects all indirectly. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. That is what King wrote in jail in Birmingham in 1963. There comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe, nor politic, nor popular. But he must take it because his conscience tells him it is right. Understand, my fourth point is understand the value of training. Understand the value of education. Now we have this movement and it keeps, talking about why we need to have technical skills. We need to have skills, whatever. Academic, technical, whatever. Get the skills. Get the skills and do it. It's not one is better than another. Like I see like the things on social media and it talks about like, hey, if you do this and you get the technical skill, you'll make more money than the other person. And the other person got school loans and this and that. It's not about that. It's about following God's will over your life. We cannot have our young people chasing dollars. If you chase dollars, you'll never be satisfied. You have to chase God's purpose over your life. You have to. You have to understand the value of your purpose, and your will has to supersede just profit chasing so we can have that unselfishness. Education must enable a man to become more efficient, to achieve with increasing faculty the legitimate goals of his life. The function of education is to teach one to think intensively, and to think critically. Intelligence plus character. That is the goal of a true education. I don't care what you choose to do. You choose to go to college, you got to add character. You choose to get your education learning how to be a plumber, you got to have character. Either way, you got to have character. Who in the world made you think that just because somebody sits in a classroom that they have to have character and then the other person doesn't have to? No, we have to have character in our handyman. Character. Intelligence plus character. Intelligence is not just education. Develop a community perspective. And he speaks on this one. It says, those who are not looking for happiness are most likely to find it, because those who are searching forget that the surest way to be happy is to seek happiness for others. And then you can have pure joy, real joy, sustainable joy, because you look at yourself and you're proud because you know you looked out. That unselfishness. Everybody can be great. King says this. Everybody can be great. Anybody, because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love. King's words. Powerful. I don't think that we, focus enough on that. And then live with urgency. He speaks to us. He says, we have also come to this hallowed spot to remind America of the fierce urgency of now. This is no time to engage in the luxury of cooling off or to take the tranquilizing drug of gradualism. Now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. And that's in I Have a Dream. Now. And the seventh point is love every part of you and know that God loves you. Your loving yourself individually creates an enhancement of our family, of Black people in this world, of all of us, and through the world. And and they don't understand us. But our unity and progress will serve as a reminder of all that we have done for this country and this world. We need to unite. And as Mr. Johnson said, love is the only force. This Martin Luther King quote, love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend. He who is devoid of the power to forgive is devoid of the power to love. Love. And my 8th point is about poverty. Poverty that is strangling our community. And to change the situation, it requires that we give more and that we invest more of ourselves to those that are less fortunate. And then the speech, where do we go from here? And it's a good, I want you to look this up. The title is Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community? 1967. The quote, the contemporary tendency in our society is to base our distribution on scarcity, which has vanished, and to compress our abundance into the overfed mouths of the middle and upper classes until they gag with superfluity. If democracy is to have breadth of meaning, it is necessary to adjust this inequity. It is not only moral, but it is also intelligent. We are wasting and degrading human life by clinging to archaic thinking. Oh, my goodness. This is so relevant today. Whew. Archaic thinking. Oh, goodness. Speak, brother. Speak through me. My 9th point, have the strength to love, know the power of the ability to love. And he says, without love, there is no reason to know anyone. For love will, in the end, connect us to our neighbors, our children, and our hearts. This is all king. We must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. And he speaks on that in St. Louis in March 1964. Nonviolence is absolute commitment to the way of love. Love is not emotional, bash. It is not empty sentimentalism. It is the active outpouring of one's whole being into the being of another. Whoa. Amen. Love. So it's deeper than that. Like he's saying here that it's not just the strength, it's not just the meditation, not just the fasting, what I was saying, we have to, but he's saying that it's just about love. Can't we just do something for love's sake? That's what he's saying. Can't I just not hit you back? And you know that I can, but can't you appreciate that I choose not to harm you? I choose not to harm you because of my relationship with God. And that's my strength. And that's my strength. And my final point is hold your position and apply more pressure. Hold your position and apply more pressure. Don't settle. Get into the counter is cool, but we've got more that we can offer to this world. Marching down the street, that's fine, but we've got more that we can do. Waiting on someone else to do the right thing when we know there's something that needs to be done, we got to do it. We got to do it. And it makes me think about, myself. I keep thinking about because I know whatever it is, this is all I can do today. But I say this publicly and I say it, with God, dear God, please, if there is anything that I can do to help make this world a better place, please allow me and guide me to do it. Don't just allow our living to be in vain. Our individual decisions are vital to the success of this planet. I think that it's important for me to be my best in order for racism to be counteracted. I believe that when I'm less than I know that I can be, then it allows racism to be perpetuated. When I don't give out the love that I should, or if I express hate, or I express anger, or if I express a lack of discipline, you know what I mean? I believe that that allows the racism, negativity, doubt about me and everything that I represent on this planet for God, you know what I mean? It gets a hooray out of that. It claps on our weaknesses. Mm, mm, mm. So I believe that we have to think that we're vital to our family's success. That I feel that I have a responsibility to feel that I'm vital to your success. I have to communicate that I want peace for you, and I want peace for me, and I want wealth development, and I want Ms. Walker to have a successful business, and I want to inspire others that, even though it's hard for us to get capital, you can look at me and see this woman's been an entrepreneur for almost 30 years. We can do it. Whew. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We can change this. We can change this. So, and remember that our freedom, isn't free. And I hear people say that all the time, freedom isn't free, freedom isn't free. But I have to remind myself of that, as I live my life, as I am an entrepreneur, that my life is not easy. The freedom, the flexibility, the being able to talk about this and not worry, is my boss going to have a problem with my discussion about, civil rights and the beautiful life of Dr. Martin Luther King and his beautiful work? And and how much more we have to do. The freedom of not having to assess to anyone but God is not free. I have to be disciplined. I have to sacrifice. I have to focus. I have to work hard and pray without ceasing. Believe me, it is not an easy plight. Let's keep going. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. I see you all in there. Some of y'all don't have yours, but thank you. I see Miss Green. I see Mike Robb, my husband in there. Y'all not turning on y'all camera. Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you
turning
for
on your camera. I don't know. Again, let's see if this view does it a little bit better. Thank you to everybody. Thank you. Let's keep on pushing. That's right, Queen Howard. Stand up. I was listening to one of King's speeches, and he was talking about, standing up. Like, nobody can get on your back unless you're bent over. You know what I mean? Stand up. We have to be healthy and strong for so many reasons. Oh, thank you, Mr. Hawkins. Mm-hmm.
You're doing good,
Yes,
Jay.
I'm a full service financial firm over here. I definitely appreciate y'all. I'm
We
very
appreciate you.
oh, thank you so much, Mr. Johnson. When you think about King's life, and I'm sorry to put you on the spot here, but when you think about King's life, what stands out to you? And I appreciate your comment when you were saying that he's all about love.
That's a powerful statement. When he said a man who hasn't found something worth living for, he's not fit to live or dying for. And I think that we're in
Amen.
a place and space right now where many
Mm.
people haven't found something worth dying for, but yet something worth living for. I hear you.
Amen.
I
Amen.
hear a woman that's found something worth living for.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful point. That's a beautiful point. And I know that as an entrepreneur yourself that it is a constant recommitting. And when I think about people like King, who are that's all they do. Like, you know what I mean, is social movement. And when he passed away, there was no great big life insurance policy for his family. There was no, estate planning. There was nothing, and his family, from what I see, financially struggled, a lot after his death. And it makes me, I think a lot of times we don't realize how much people sacrifice when they choose us. When they choose us.
Harry Belafonte took care of the King's family.
Oh, that's so good.
After King died.
Oh, that's so good. That is so good. I did not know that. That's so good to hear.
And that's why what you're doing is so important, because the finances. Some of us out here doing the work, but haven't come across the financial advantage to help us and our family.
Yes.
If it wasn't for Harry Belafonte and the support he did for the King family, I don't know.
And we all should have been on all that. It shouldn't have been one person. You know what I'm saying? And we all should have been in on that. And I think that we need to really get organized, on that, like about all of our, you know what I mean? Well, we don't really have an organized movement, unfortunately, like we had Southern Christian Leadership, conference back then. And I had the opportunity to meet Curtis Harris before he passed away. And but we don't have a movement. Like, he was very close to King and everything, but we do need to get an organized get an organization that can speak to us about like critical race theory, and what does that mean to us academically for our children, and what does that mean economically to us, and things like that. Because we're kind of missing the boat, and we're just re-electing these politicians to go in there and represent us, and we're not getting even minimum wage overwhelmingly impacts Black people. So when you have this huge segment of society that is impacted by a problem so tremendously, something needs to be done. And every politician, that is representing these people who are living off minimum wage, telling them that they should come out here and vote for you, but you're not making sure that they have a livable wage. It's not supposed to, the federal minimum wage is not supposed to, under Biden, get to $15 until 2025. That, at which point it will not be a livable wage anymore. $15 was livable wage, 5 years ago, whenever they calculated it. So you can't use that same livable wage calculation. That's not relevant when we had 6% inflation just last year. So we're not doing any adjustment. So when it gets to 2025, our community is still going to be struggling even more. Because the $15 is not the livable wage today anymore. And when Biden was elected, he promised that he would make sure that that was adjusted. But he didn't say how long it could take, right? He didn't say how long it could take. So we need to start holding people accountable for us. I'm not saying get involved with a political party or make a stance, no. But we need to have an organized organization that is going to go in and make sure that people can take care of their children. People need to be able to take care of their children. Well, please, you all, please continue to, yes, it's another form. It's another form. I mean, it easily could be seen as a modern day slavery. When you're going and you're getting educated and you're doing everything right, and then you still cannot get a job. Whew. I love you all. Go have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful day. I wish you were all logged in so y'all can sing. I know I should sing for y'all, but I'm not. Thank you again, Mr. Hawkins. Thank you, Mr. Bell. I know, right? Thank you. Sing a song. I love it. Singing Miss Daniels. Thank you. Let us rejoice. I ain't no ways tired. It's just the beginning. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. How you doing, Mr. Bart?